welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. And this isn't just any episode. This is our 2022 Ruff Talk VR Game Award Show.
Yeah, this will be the second annual award show.
And I think it's going to be a annual thing for sure going forward as well.
I would not have said annual if it was not.
You're going to hear one, the 2023, the 2024, and I think every year it's going to get bigger too.
That seems to be, because we're already planning next year, believe it or not. But yeah,
there's
definitely.
There's some things we wanted to have done for this year that, come to us a little late in the process, like trophies and things like that. But, maybe next year.
In the world of digital, what's more important? I mean, I don't think a physical object makes or breaks it. So.
No, sometimes that just goes into somebody's attic as well.
The digital one, the thought of it getting thrown away really would bother me. But a digital one, hey, if you want to delete it, throw it away.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's actually, at the end of the day, the trophy doesn't make the award.
No, but already this year, there's a lot more categories than last year. Yep.
Yeah.
I already have more categories planned for next year. So yeah, definitely, I think each year it's going to get a little bit more professional.
Keeps growing, man.
Yeah, well, so does the world of VR. We just had HTC finally announce their headset this past week at CES. Right over my price cutoff that I was saying, like you pass it over $999, it's going to be too much. I think it was $1,090. I think it was just under $1,100.
Yeah, I'll pass.
There was not. I was saying this to you a little off air. There seems to be like a 0.5 generation jump in the meantime. At the end of 2022 and start of 2023. Before the real next gen headsets get here, like PlayStation VR 2. And the Quest 3, this 0.5 generation, I think I'm all set on.
Yeah, I'll pass.
The prosumer headsets is what it seems like. Anything at over $1,000, I won't call consumer. I can't convince my friends to buy that. So, nonetheless, so moving on to the actual.
I'm more anxious for the awards than.
Yeah, I just figured I'd get that one over with before.
Because we debated on the price of it.
Yeah, you were guessing like I think 1,400.
14 is what I settled on, but I'm passing.
Yeah, no, there's no, like I said, I'm all set on the
not shitting
generation.
on it, but I'm passing on it.
Well, for people that liked the idea of the Quest Pro, but for whatever reason don't want a Meta headset, whatever, yes, it's another option. It'll actually be sold in North America, unlike the Pico. So whatever, it's just another play in the market. But yeah, I'll wait till the Quest 3. That's going to be my next headset, I'm pretty sure. But last week on Monday Morning News, we read off the actual nominees. So today we have the winners. It was some heated debates on some of these.
There was nothing comes easy.
Some blood, sweat, and tears were shed in deciding these, but we have the winners. The winners are in, as you can tell, with nice, and I don't want to show you, but handwritten flash notes.
If you're watching on video, yes, you'll see that. Handwritten.
This is organic as it gets.
Listen, we're eco-friendly. We're not wasting printer ink.
I will say. Better handwriting than last week, though.
Yeah,
less of a rush.
I could confirm that I could read every single thing.
But I think we'll go through this in the same order that we did last week in terms of categories. Obviously, ending with Game of the Year.
Yeah,
but the first one of the bunch.
I think you joked it wouldn't be cool to start with that, would it?
Come on, man! I'd stop listening at 5 minutes in if we started at Game Studio.
Although I disagree with that because some of the categories are strong enough that
that's true.
It's like it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure everybody would want Game of the Year, but there's other categories that I feel winning that is just as important as winning Game of the Year.
Yeah, jokes aside, from a consumer standpoint, usually if I am watching a award show, I care more about one of the sub awards than I do the main of the year, whatever it is, movie of the year, whatever.
Yeah, depending on the award show, everyone already goes into it knowing flat out who it is. I'm not saying this one, but it could be like music awards or Hollywood movies. It's already decided, but we'll see.
Yeah. So nonetheless, starting with,
I'm excited.
Best updated game of the year. The nominees that we announced last week, we had Population 1. Demeo.
That's good.
Oh, this was a hard one. This is starting it on the first one, blood, sweat, and tears shed. So, Population 1, Demeo, After the Fall, Golf Plus, Knock, and Vermilion. The winner for Best Updated Game of the Year, an already existing game that has continued to deliver premium content to the fans. We have Demio from Resolution Games. That one was, you know,
They're all, and this is the thing with all the categories. Everything that is in each of one of these is standalone. They're freaking fantastic. So these are hard choices.
yeah. Population 1 came out with the sandbox mode.
Yeah.
Several updates throughout the year. Same with After the Fall. Golf Plus with several courses. Knock with another course, and several updates. Same with Vermilion bringing the multiplayer. So all these games brought heat this year, but Demio stuck out. They Resolution Games has continued to bring constant, like I said, good content to the game of Demio. And in the case of Demio, it's been all for free as well. That's huge. But accepting the award, actually, this is something that, not for every award, because like I said, we argued to the
scheduling,
wire.
yeah, and scheduling reasons, it's tough for every studio.
Well, think even for the games that are on this list, look, they're busy pumping out updates. It's like developers are always hustling. So I'm grateful of all of the developers that we got to get us accepted speeches. And for the ones that we couldn't get because of timing or schedule, whatever, I completely understand. But for this award, accepting the speech from Resolution Games, we have Paul Brady, the co-founder of Resolution Games.
Hey, Paul Brady here, president and co-founder of Resolution Games. I wanted to give a big thank you, shout out to Ruff Talk VR for honoring us with the Best Updated Game of the Year award for Demio. On behalf of the Demio team and Resolution Games as a whole, we really appreciate it. We do put a lot of effort and resources into updating our games and to keeping them live and fresh and interesting. So it's really, really an honor to see that recognition happen. Thank you for your community and you guys for really supporting and recognizing that. It is much appreciated. So thanks again. Bye.
And that was that was cool. That was awesome. I like
this.
Yeah,
no, dude, I'm grateful for every person that was able to, I'll say, schedule in the time, because at the end of the day, I mean, every single person we've spoken with, they're hammering out their stuff. They're working hard. There's no vacations. It's not like we caught somebody on holiday going, oh, yeah, I can gladly.
No, actually, in fact, it's right after the holidays. To be honest with you, it's actually.
Oh yeah, we're the worst human beings to try to. Not only will we cut you down to the wire, but we expect you to do this after it's a brand new year. Come on, why wouldn't you have the time? So. But no, it's incredible the hustle that every one of the developers that we know, whether they won or not, are still out there hustling and trying to do something great for their product.
Absolutely.
So I'm just grateful for everybody. So, all right, next category, we've got Game Storyline of the Year. Yeah, man, I'm going to remember the arguments more than the winners, to be honest with you. But the categories we had was Green Hell VR, The Last Clockwinder, Red Matter 2, Iron Man VR, and Twilight Zone VR. Yep.
This was a tough one.
They're all, like I said, every category to me, and this is just my opinion, is loaded with heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm. Well, this one's up there with like Game of the Year, Game Storyline of the Year. That's like, that's a big category.
It's got to be compelling, and every single one of these to me, it brought, definitely their own really good stories. They're all great stories. So even if you're not the winner, I would recommend every single one of these on the list because they're all good stories. But the winner from Vertical Robot, Red Matter 2.
Ooh. Based off of how much we loved the first and second one, I think that this one was maybe obvious to anybody who listened to our reviews, but all of these games were really, really good.
But we gave good argument for some of the others.
Well, Green Hell was such a great psychological trip. The Last Clockwinder, it gets that, we're going to do a review of it, so I don't want to spoil it,
Then Iron Man, I loved the story in Iron Man. To me, that game would not have worked without the story.
Twilight Zone with 3 different great stories.
I'll forever love. But I'm biased with that because I love the show. So,
but all were very well written. So no, it wasn't an easy category. I just think it's, Red Matter 2. We love the story in it so much. We loved reading all the little novelty items.
Yeah, and if you couple it truthfully with, and I already thought of this for next year, but best sound score type of situation. But because I think those people deserve the ample credit by name, other than like, hey, the music was really cool. But when you give me that full besides the immersiveness or the just the graphics, but that music element and the background all adds to that whole, makes a story better.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. No.
I don't know if I hear music in my head though during like cliffhanger moments though, or do you?
We were tuned. I think
Because I kind of when I read, I create the picture in my head of what's going on. So
I think your brain just tunes the music out. It's like for a second, it's not there to you. If that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. But no, it's there will be no speech from Red Matter 2, as they are notorious for their privacy.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more incredible that you historically will pump out phenomenal content, but you're not out there in the spotlight trying to take anything. It's really strange. If I created Red Matter 2, you'd have gotten tired of my face by now.
Yeah, if you go look for interviews of theirs, it's essentially just written like text interviews. There's not like audio interviews, or especially not video interviews. Don't think I still didn't bother them.
Well, yeah,
for an
you have to.
but-
They flat out freaking won the category,
They are pretty straightforward. They were like, hey, yeah, no, we enjoy art.
and we knew that going into it that
yeah,
they don't
yeah. So
necessarily like jump on video,
Yeah.
just the way it is. But an honor to have played all those games.
Oh, yeah. Great ones. So, going on, the next category, a category near and dear to our heart, multiplayer game of the year. We're big fans of multiplayer, especially co-op. So,
Say that ain't so.
Yeah. They're some of our favorite. Even, when we were deciding some, next game to review coming up, I was like, dude, I'm craving co-op. But I'm always craving co-op, So, it's definitely a category near and dear to us. For multiplayer game of the year, the nominees were Mother Gunship Forge, Among Us VR, Wands Alliance, World of Mechs, and Knock. So your winner for multiplayer game of the year, from Terrible Posture Games, we have Mother Gunship Forge.
Still love the name.
Oh my goodness, dude, this game took over our playtime for solid months after we discovered it. Straight obsessed.
Then the second I found out that if you were doing like solo missions and shit, if you want to take a break, just shut it off and come back to it, and it saves auto, and it's like, all right, this is a game changer.
And it's even taken over a bit in our Discord. We've gotten a lot
of
the players, a lot of the members of our Discord play it, and even props to Crispy, who won our Mother Gunship Forge Endless Challenge. At this point, his Endless mode, he's at number 7 in the world.
Yeah.
And it's still going, to my understanding.
It was like 400 levels.
Yeah, that's insane. He posted in our Discord level 299, and it was insane. I don't know how his headset's not melting. So Mother Gunship Forge is a great game. It's actually brought a lot of good updates. It was almost a contender for best updated game of the year. Didn't quite make the list, but there's an argument for it. Like, they brought in a lot of new weapons and stuff like that, and it's just such an addictive game, especially multiplayer. So that's our winner for multiplayer game of the year, Mother Gunship Forge. So unfortunately, this is an example of, we wait till the last minute to decide the winners. It can be tough to iron out the scheduling. So for this one, unfortunately, there is no acceptance speech, but phenomenal game. Yeah, like I said, that's a category very near and dear to us. And if you haven't gotten the vibe yet as a listener, same thing as last week, we're going to bounce back and forth. So you're not going to hear the same person read 5 categories in a row or anything like that.
I was hoping they figured that out at
by
the
third
one. Yeah.
Well, we almost messed
wait
up
a
last
minute,
week.
I'm seeing a connection here. That's all right. We gave you the twofer.
Hey, you listen to this podcast, you're probably a smart person. There's a good chance, right?
So next category, we had VR Port of the Year, which is just awesome that we can have a category for it. And I said last week, and I'll say it again, that I can't wait for this category to be huge, to where in theory you could actually leave out games. But currently right now, I won't say that the store is inundated with, port overs. So the nominees were, I think I said categories on one, but whatever. The nominees are for VR Port of the Year, Among Us VR, Green Hell VR, Thief Simulator VR, Car Mechanic Sim. And I argue this is another tough category that we had to to debate.
So Among Us VR, incredibly hyped release that delivered, minus some like connecting game issues, but for the most part delivered.
Yeah.
Green Hell VR, look, It was on our game storyline of the year for a nominee. Thief Simulator VR, one of the funniest experiences I've had playing party chat with you.
Who doesn't want to be a thief?
And then Car Mechanic Sim, that's a game that you loved, flat screen.
Yeah.
Now it's in VR, so yeah, definitely. And I think every year this is going to become more of a difficult
That's my
category.
hope. I hope next year there's legit like 10 games that we have to go through. Be like, oh my God, there was a lot ported over this year. But, and you had mentioned it, they did a fantastic job when they did this port, as did all of them. But this one, I think, just delivered pound for pound exactly what everyone's expectations were. In some cases, like in mine, I think they delivered probably even a little better than I thought they would have. But we've got Shell Games, Among Us VR.
Ooh, and now there is technically a couple developers with Among Us VR. You know, you
Correct.
have Inner Sloth, you have Robot Teddy, and you have Shell Games.
Yep.
But, you know.
Fantastic team. I mean, Shell never disappoints, that's for sure. But
one of the most consistent in the industry. They're what I would consider our part of our AAA studio group.
And to accept the award for VR Port of the Year, we have Mike from Shell Games.
Hey, I'm Mike T, Project Director for Among Us VR at Shell Games. On behalf of the teams at Innersloth, Shell Games, and Robot Teddy, I'm honored to accept Best VR Port of the Year award for Among Us VR. Big thanks to the dev team who put so much time and love into adapting this great game into the VR space, and a huge thank you to everyone who supported us by picking up and playing the game and hopping into our beta test with us, and sorry if I killed you. Congrats to all the Ruff Talk VR award winners. See you on the Skeld.
Man, I love the accepted speech thing. You know, that was a cool thing. Hopefully, like I said, next year we can iron out who the winners are. I love that he's got
the Among Us shirt on too.
Right? You know, for anybody listening on...
And it looks like some nice musical equipment in the background, so...
Yeah, I think, a banjo.
Yeah.
That was pretty freaking cool. He seems like he'd be a fun guy to hang with.
Absolutely.
I bet you he's a beast
at Among
Us.
Shell Games and the rest of the people that worked on it, I think everyone did a fantastic job. And at the end of the day, it might not be my favoriteest game in the whole world, but I cannot dispute that they delivered on what everyone thought they would.
Yeah. Huge.
Or should.
Yeah. I think it's actually even better in VR than flat screen.
And yeah. And it's one of those rare occasions where it's like it's a product I can look at and go, there's not anything I can think of that they need to do to make it better. It's
besides, the custom room issue we had, but in terms of the actual gameplay itself,
proofing until they can eye scan your eyeball and figure out, you're 12, that's going to probably always be the little hiccup with it. But
yeah, but nonetheless, great port.
Hell yeah.
So
congratulations.
Yeah. Huge props to them. So next one, this is another near and dear to our heart. One of our favorite genres in VR. We have strategy game of the year. And what I like is, I commented this last time, almost half this list, or to be fair, there's five people or 5 games. 2 of the games, those are App Lab graduates as well. It's cool to see our, some of our favorite App Lab ones now be nominees on the official store. So we have for strategy game of the year, Deism, Iron Guard VR, Cities VR, Little Cities, and Space Folk City. So the winner. A lot of cities going on here. The winner of for strategy game of the year, we have App Lab graduate Iron Guard VR.
I cannot disagree one iota on that.
Not only, it's the tower defense game on the official store. There's not really any traditional ones besides Iron Guard VR. It's one of the best tower defense games I have played, period.
Mm-hmm.
So huge props to them. And accepting this speech, a gentleman that we actually interviewed on the podcast, we have Zubin Wadia, the founder and producer of Iron Guard VR, with an acceptance speech.
Hello everyone, I'm Zubin, founder of XLab Digital and producer on Iron Guard. I'm absolutely blown away by the results. It is truly an honor to win Strategy Game of the Year on Ruff Talk VR, a game awards show. Firstly, I want to thank the Ruff Talk VR community and the VR community at large. Your support has been invaluable to us over the years. We are a small but dedicated and hardworking team with a passion for VR. We can't thank you enough for your continued support towards our games. I also want to thank all the players of Iron Guard. Your enthusiasm, reviews, and feedback have been essential to our success. It is amazing to see how far we have come, and it's all thanks to you. Finally, I'd also like to congratulate all the other developers. Uh, we have created incredible games that we all have enjoyed playing, and we are all in awe of your talent and dedication. Once again, thank you everyone for your support. We couldn't have done this without you. Cheers.
No, huge props to Iron Guard VR. Like I said, bringing one of our favorite genres with tower defense to
Hey, man,
VR.
that he's, I think, he's like the United Nations of developers, holding
Yeah.
it together with the
United
team
States
in
team,
Ukraine and Russia. Yeah,
United States, Ukraine, and Russia in one team.
go figure. Everyone's getting along.
And I love to see them go from App Lab. When we reviewed the game, they were App Lab.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're on the official store.
Crushing it as far as the reviews and such go.
Top rated on the store. You pass by it on the store. It has that top rated ribbon.
Can't miss it.
I think I checked. I think it's at 4.7 the other day. You know, anybody who loves tower defense, you know, there's a reason it won our strategy game of the year. But on to the next category. What do we got here?
We have got Publisher of the Year.
That's a huge one, too.
Mm-hmm. There's so many good ones.
We've seen, you know, when we first started this podcast, it didn't seem like the publisher role in VR was, you know, as big as it is today. It's something very common in all other gaming, but it seemed, I don't know, it seems like a core group.
Well, that was still like in the very infancy stage of things. So it's nice to see that the publisher group is one of those that you're going to see, I think, more and more. And other than the developer and publisher self-combo, but
Yeah, which we saw with like Vertical Robot, their developer and publisher. And while I'm sure there were publishers before, you know, like I said, when we first started, it's that this core group has really stood out as consistent. You know, it's almost like with some of them, you want to get on the official store, go call them up. Maybe they can help you out. That's how it seems, because I've seen it a couple times now.
I've got some examples. All right, so we have this year's 2023 Publisher of the Year.
2022 Publisher of the Year.
22. Oh my God.
Because we are in
jumped.
23,
Yeah,
but
we are in
these
23.
are for games that came out.
2022 Publisher of the Year. Resolution Games, Beast, Shell Games, End Dreams, Fast Travel Games, and Oculus Studios. Now, amazingly, I'll get to this in a second, but the winner, Fast Travel Games.
You mean get your game on the official store fast?
Well, I was saying that I would argue that even though Oculus Studios was in there, if I were making a game, I would be knocking on Fast Travel's door before I knocked on Oculus Studios.
Well, because they're of this bunch, it seems like of them, all the other ones kind of like, you know, find a new game and publish it. What we've seen Fast Travel start to do is take existing games in development and existing games, you know, in some cases like Guardians VR, already out on the App Lab store, and take them to the official store.
Seems like there's a nice, healthy relationship.
You know, I've seen that game We Are One in development for a while, and I don't know how recently, you know, they became part of Fast Travel Games, or at least Fast Travel Games became the publisher, but boom, now all of a sudden they're the publisher. So huge props to Fast Travel Games.
And due to some time constraints, unfortunately, there will be no acceptance speech from Fast Travel.
Wah, 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 wah. Not bad. So I think we're both technically halfway through, you know, the flashcards in our hand with the winners. So I think technically being at the halfway point, I think that that's an appropriate time to take an ad break. Would you agree?
I will love to take a sip of coffee. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, come on, man. You know, we're talking a lot. Sometimes a little coffee and water doesn't hurt. So, you know, like always, before we take our little ad break, if you've been enjoying the show, you like this episode, whatever, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. That's huge. Rate us, you know, 5 stars. I said subscribe us 5 stars. That's funny. So yeah, if you've been enjoying the show, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and definitely go join the Discord. Every week it continues to grow. It's really cool. We've added some new like channels in there, so it's a little bit more organized. But it's a fun time in the Discord. So you can find that link in our show notes, the episode description. So what's this episode about? Hit show more. Boom. You'll see the link at the bottom. And then also maybe, you know, you can go take a peek at our Patreon. But Other than that, we'll be back with you in just a moment.
This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code RuffTalkVR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered. We are excited to announce our newest Ruff Talk VR podcast sponsor, VRlist.xyz, a marketplace for VR talent that just launched April this year and already has over 100 members as of October. At VRlist.xyz, they believe the metaverse will usher in new opportunities for all those who partake in it. With that, they asked a simple question: how can you find VR creators? Unhappy with the results they found, it was time to take things into their own hands. They've embarked on a journey to simplify how those looking for VR services can connect with those who supply them. VRlist.xyz is an open marketplace for VR creators, instructors, entertainers, and proprietors to proudly showcase their talents and spaces to potential clients. And with already over 100 vendors listed, including Stratus and yours truly, VRlist.xyz is quickly becoming the premier VR talent marketplace. Again, that's VRlist.xyz to find the right VR talent for your needs.
And we're back. So, our next category, much like best updated game of the year, this is a category that highlights that, in the world of VR, there's so many developers who continue to bring new content to their games. In this category, DLC of the year, we've seen some free and we've seen some paid examples. But all of these games on this list have continued to pump out great DLC all year long. So, the nominees and the winner for DLC of the year, we have, first up, Walkabout Mini Golf, Golf Plus, Beat Saber, Real VR Fishing, and Demio. So the winner for best DLC of the year, Walkabout Mini Golf. And this isn't just for one DLC. This is highlighting, which of these put out the best overall DLC.
They crush it.
Between licensed DLC, they did some their own creative endeavors as well. I mean, Walkabout killed it.
I would say I'd put Golf Plus in the must-watch category for this upcoming year.
Especially with their recent PGA partnership.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There'll be some moves made.
I'd say of this list, second place probably would have had to either be Golf Plus or Demio. It's hard to rank them, though. I don't think I can rank them fully. But no, definitely, I get what you're saying. Like, Golf Plus is creeping up that list to a potential winner for next year.
I would totally anticipate it's going to be a tougher decision next year than... And I wholeheartedly anticipate the Mighty Coconut.
Oh, they're going to continue to put out...
They're going to do shit that we're not even thinking of. I'm convinced of it.
We have a very real possibility for that. For this category, it's going to be a showdown of the two best golf games on the store of Golf Plus.
That'd be freaking awesome, though.
That's how it's going to go, because these games... I mean, Golf Plus is preparing for this year with getting these partnerships at the end of the year, and Walkabout still has more things that they've announced, not yet released, and who knows what's on their whiteboard in the office.
Yeah, which we already know is chock full of
potential
ideas. Yeah,
somewhere Edward's tapping his fingers, going, "Oh, if only they knew,"
If only they knew.
But huge props to Walkabout for the year of 2022. They nailed it.
Yep.
Awesome DLC this year. Huge props to them, and accepting the award for DLC of the year. We have the man himself, Lucas Martel.
Hi there. I just wanted to say thank you so much to Ruff Talk and to all of our players for supporting us and continuing to play the game. It's so awesome to see how the community has really come together and become a second home for a lot of people. So also huge thanks to the Coconuts, everyone who's been working on the game so hard. 2022 was a fantastic year. We had a lot of great stuff, including Labyrinth and Mist and some other great DLCs and new features. And stay tuned because we've already got a lot of stuff well underway for 2023. So it's going to be another great year. Thanks so much.
I always love hearing from the mighty Coconut folk. They're always cool people.
Everybody we've talked to.
Yeah. I mean,
everybody.
Our first one, we lucked out. We joked about it last week. I don't know if we could score another interview at this point because he's blown up so big. But yeah, Lucas Martel was our first one.
He's like a rock star of VR now. It's like, what the hell?
I mean, dude, we got to talk to a Disney Imagineer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how freaking cool that is?
I'll actually check that off of my list of things to do in life.
Unexpectedly, you should have seen your face when you had heard that. You were like, no freaking way.
Here's the reality is like Disney's not going to hire slouchy people to work on major projects like that. So anytime anybody's an Imagineer, I don't care what level you were at. It's like the fact that you were part of that puts you a little, in your own category of things. So
yes, keep that in mind. That's part of the reason that they're able to win DLC of the year. They have a freaking Disney Imagineer.
Oh, and that's just
a former Disney Imagineer working
one of
for them.
So many people too.
Oh my, just one piece of the puzzle that makes that game.
Our last interview was one of my funnest.
Yeah. With Edward?
Yeah.
Edward was a cool dude.
Yeah.
Hearing about the ball making and stuff and the ball hiding. Him laughing about,
that one was brutal. There's not a person at Mighty Coconut that doesn't have like the dream job.
Dude, we were talking to Edward about how hard some of the balls were to find, and he just pulled up on his computer and he goes, oh yeah. Yeah, I was pretty brutal with that one. I was like, damn. So yeah, no, huge props to the Mighty Coconut crew.
Yeah.
An animation studio as well. They've actually seemed to do quite good in animation this past year as well. So huge props to them.
Yeah.
Forever in Austin.
Can't wait to see. Dude, we could spend a month out there at this point.
Because I'm pretty sure that's where Golf Plus is too.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, we just keep bouncing back from place to place. Hit some real 18 holes with the founder of Golf Plus. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So
next category we have is Sports Game of the Year, which is another category I would expect to see growing in 2023, 24. And hopefully by 26 to 28, everyone's like, I'm so sick of all the freaking different sports games. It's like, you don't have to come out with one every year. Like I do now with,
Madden or...
Dude, it doesn't matter. Fucking basketball, hockey, football. It's like every year. And then you look at the ratings and you're like, they're getting worse every year. So this is going to be an exciting category, though, in the upcoming years. So Sports Game of the Year, we have NFL Pro Era, Gym Class VR, First Person Tennis, and 4VR Pool or Forever Pool. Whichever
I still want to say 4VR Pool.
I'm sticking, you know what? Screw that.
Stick to my guns.
4VR Pool.
This was one that we actually, we really debated a bit on.
Yeah, because interestingly enough, each brings their own uniqueness. And then so this was a really big, pros and cons in future and what they've done since release.
But you made some really good points. And I 100% agree with this winner. They deserve it.
Yep. So the winner this year for Sports Game of the Year from Mickery Games is First Person Tennis.
Woo! I love that one.
And now, due to our inability to speak and translate fluently in Italian, there will be no acceptance speech from Mickery Games, but we congratulate them and their team on pulling off what turned out to be a great experience, and it just keeps getting better and better. And, even though you've got tennis and football next to each other, tennis is a sport. So
tennis is a great sport. And now NFL Pro Era was a really good game this year too.
I enjoyed it. I just found it more one-dimensional than
Wait till
tennis
wait till they have all the positions.
And a lot more forgiving. Like with the tennis, there was less forgiving for sure.
And he'll even tell you in the reviews, like, no, tennis is just a hard sport. People in the reviews of the game going, oh, it passed through my ball. He goes, no, that would happen in real life too. You're not swinging right.
He stands by his product.
Gangster.
regardless of the translation issue, I think someday we'll figure out a workaround from that because I'd love to be able to talk to them about putting that together. Just the physics involved alone. So.
I could see that being in best updated game next year. You know, my understanding is that even in the time we've owned it, it's pumped out a lot of updates.
Yeah, it's had a couple of improvements for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Each one better than the last. So.
And my experience with VR devs is it doesn't usually stop there. They tend to get crazy and more crazy ideas. And so I'm excited to see what next year brings for that
that's
game.
the difference too, I think, with NFL Pro Era. I don't think that
I haven't
they
really seen the same
necessarily-
updates now.
But no, I don't think sometimes they feel obligated or they need to. It's like, this is what we set out to do. This is what we were supposed to do. We delivered properly. It's what we want it to be. Next project, you know? So, but that's not a knock to any of them. Of course, you know, Gym Class VR, which is stupid popular.
So popular. That was actually an App Lab graduate as well. I mean, huge props to them.
Didn't need to be, but it was.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the, I'd say, App Lab success stories without the store.
That's actually the next category I have here. And we have 2 games on this list that are kind of like that were kind of great examples of games that were completely self-sufficient on the App Lab store, but it's been cool to see them graduate anyway. But nonetheless, so our next category, like I referenced, App Lab Graduate of the Year. Games that were on App Lab, and then this year they moved to the official MetaQuest store. We have Deism, one of the first App Lab games we ever played.
Fantastic game. Still.
Amazing. We have Arcaxer, who's the winner of our App Lab Game of the Year last year. We have Crisis Brigade 2. Great time with that one. And the first one. The first one's obviously not being nominated, but that's just a comical. If you've never played Crisis Brigade 1 and you like co-op games, got to check that one off the list. Iron Guard VR, who was the winner of our strategy game of the year this year. Gorilla Tag and Gym Class VR. Those last 2 are great examples of the self-sufficient App Lab game. So many ratings in both Gorilla Tag and Gym Class VR. But there can only be one winner. And the winner of the App Lab Graduate of the Year, we have Arcaxer. So last year they won the Game of the Year for App Lab. This year they won the Graduate of the Year. Huge props to them. We've actually interviewed them twice. 2 developers in this game, Anthony and Aaron, which is amazing for how great of a game it is.
It's just cool dudes.
Yeah, and when our last interview with them, they seem to have a lot of great ideas in the works, and it's nuts that they're pulling this off, just them. And they're actually at CES, you know, as they sent in their acceptance speech.
Out in Vegas.
So
Out in Las Vegas.
accepting the speech, we have, like I referenced, the developers, Anthony and Aaron.
Hey guys, Aaron from Arcaxer. I just want to say thank you for giving us your App Lab Graduate of the Year award. We're here at CES, and unfortunately, Anthony just gambled away the last of our profits on this slot machine. So I hope we'll see you next year. And there it goes. That's all right. See you guys next time.
All right, if you haven't played Arcaxer, it looks like you definitely got to go buy that game and go support them now that Anthony's blown through there.
Yeah, go help them out. I saw that little
That was a great one. That was funny.
the change bandit sucking all the money. No, that was funny.
That was awesome. So, yeah,
Appreciate
great-
that they did that too.
Yeah, great guys, great game. You know, like I said, now they're a two-time winner,
Wicked ambitious. Yeah, they're 2 for.
2 years in a row. Like I said, they won App Lab Game of the Year and App Lab Graduate of the Year.
I don't know what they could do for next year, but in talking to them and hearing like they have no shortage of ideas and growth. So this could get real interesting for this year. So next category. Oh, this is such a good one. We have the 2022 App Lab Game of the Year. So this is current App Lab, no graduate.
That came out this year. That honestly, all of these should be on the official
Well, I was
MetaQuest
just going
store.
to say that my argument would be is that every single one of these that I mentioned should be, and I would anticipate will be on the store sometime in this upcoming year. If not, we can discuss it at the end of the year because there's obviously something that went wrong. And if it's not game abandonment, then I've got a lot of questions. So App Lab Game of the Year, we have Swordsman VR, Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu. You're already laughing.
One of my favorites.
Bocce Time,
One of my favorites too.
And Atlas Mystery. So again, every one of these, this is a tight one to call. But the overall, and we both mutually agreed, is from Sin Studio, Swordsman VR. And accepting this award is Sin Studio.
Hey everyone, thank you for this award. It really means a lot to the entire team here at Sin Studio. A big thank you to the team at Ruff Talk for putting together this amazing award show, but also for giving us such great content this past year. And a special thank you to our community, our Quest community, that has been so supportive since we launched Swordsman on App Lab and has given us such great feedback. We're putting everything together and we're going to ensure that we continue with all the great updates to Swordsman in 2023. Thank you so much.
And of course, congratulations to all the other nominees, both in this category and across the entire show. There's a lot of great games on this list. We've been working on Swordsman for over 2 years now. It's definitely an ongoing process. You know, it's been a lot harder than we anticipated to kind of solve this problem of sword fighting in VR, truly solve it. But we're devoted to that mission. And if you've played Swordsman before, we hope you stick around with us through that journey. If you haven't played Swordsman, we encourage you to check it out, see which direction we're headed in, give us your feedback. We definitely are open to it. The game would not be what it is today without the community. Thank you for the nomination, and we're very honored for this win.
I was so tempted to go Bocce Time on this one.
Bocce Time deserves it.
Yeah, they deserve.
But as does, Atlas Mystery and Dragon Fist.
Like I said in the last one, unfortunately, there can only be one winner, but there's a serious chance if Bocce Time makes it to the official store, it's going to be hard for a better sport game to come out in 2023. Bocce Time is one of the best social experiences on the whole store, App Lab or official.
Yeah, and it sucks because we all know that not everybody goes to App Lab, and I don't know what the actual percentage or numbers is that people have dug up of App Lab users versus store only, but it's such a great experience. And I've yet to hear anybody play it who's ever been like, oh man, I feel ripped off or whatever. It's usually like now questions. We just had someone in our Discord who didn't know there was a second course, but the excitement that they had when they were like, holy shit, there is a second, it was genuine. So, but that's one that we'll say week after week. I don't care that they should be on the store. I suppose we could get in deeper to the technical reasons, but that's not for me to answer as to why they're not. But, again, everybody on that list I would hope to see in the store in 2023.
And Swordsman VR, like I said, I said it last week, it's one of the top selling games pretty consistently on PlayStation VR. It's one of the most popular. And it's so fleshed out. It's so good. It's so polished. It's a full campaign. It feels like a complete game. Like if they're still doing updates, but if they didn't add any more, that game's done. It's complete. So I don't know what Swordsman VR is doing.
They're always listening to like feedback and I don't know. They just, again, it's another example of a studio that's not going to stop just because they put out a good product. They're just going to keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And they don't seem upset that they're on App Lab at all. And they're just going to keep doing what they need to do. And then they'll get to the store and then they'll start getting more of the recognition I think that they deserve for... There's probably going to be a lot of people who will grab it off the store and never know the backstory of any of these games when they go to the store. It's just like, they're going to
think it's a new game, yeah.
Yeah, Bocce Time, it's great. And not realize that what it took to get it from where it was to the end result in the store. So we'll see what happens this year.
Sin Studio, actually, they told a great story on our podcast when we interviewed them. They almost shut down before the release of Swordsman VR. And Swordsman VR was kind of their last, all right, let's give it a shot. All the marbles. Let's see. And now look at them. They're full-time. I think their team's growing. They got community managers. Freaking great stuff. So huge.
They position themselves in every area to be successful.
And great people. Great people.
Oh, yeah.
So huge props to...
Although in all fairness, I haven't talked to a dev team that we walked away from going, man,
no,
what a jerk.
They've all been phenomenal people,
over the top.
So
I think it's just the nature of the business. That's what it attracts. It doesn't attract toxic developers. You know
No.
what I'm saying?
Doesn't seem it, and everybody's understand. Well, because you're kind of taking a chance. You're an early pioneer at this point. Still, even though
You're risking your money for other people's to swoop in years from now to make a bunch more without having to make those sacrifices. Yeah,
So,
I get it.
nonetheless, so we got 2 more categories. This is where it gets serious. These last 3. So we have Game Studio of the Year. These are game studios that have continuously stood out in 2022 as producing great content, not just in one game, in several games. Well, actually, I can't say that because there is, one studio on here with one game, but that's because it's phenomenal. But that's a different story. So, Game Studio of the Year, we have all of these developers pumping out phenomenal works. We have Resolution Games, Shell Games, Mighty Coconut, and Fast Travel Games. So the winner,
I would work for any one of them.
these are just like Publisher of the Year, and 3 out of 4 of these were on Publisher of the Year. These are AAA studios, in my opinion, for the world of VR. Any game with these studios attached to it on the name is going to be good. We have the winner of the 2020-22 Ruff Talk VR Game Studio of the Year, Resolution Games, winning 2 categories actually between Demio and Game Studio of the Year.
It's a testament to the studio for sure.
They put out new content in freaking so many of their games, including even Bait, an old game, free game with Ultimex, so many DLCs with Demio. Yeah, huge props to Resolution Games. They deserve it.
No, they're a beast.
Games,
and they're growing so crazy.
Yeah. Whew. All the studios on this list are pretty freaking intense. Like, watch out for in 2023. So, accepting the speech, just like for Demio, we have Paul Brady, the co-founder of Resolution Games.
Hey there, this is Paul Brady. I'm president and co-founder of Resolution Games. I wanted to give a big shout out and thank Ruff Talk VR for naming us Game Studio of the Year. This is a really huge honor for us. We would not be able to do what we do without the support of our community, our fans, players, and of course our team here, but supporters like yourselves. So thank you very much for this. Last year was such an awesome year, but really it still feels like the beginning, even though we've been in this for a while. And that's one of the cool things about VR is that things just keep leveling up and getting better and better every year. So lots of cool things coming this year, like Racket Club and a few other games that we haven't announced yet and updates. So we'll be sure to give you guys a heads up on those for sure. But yeah, we look forward to hanging out with you and your amazing community in the future. Thanks again. Really appreciate it.
So cool of them to be able to take the time. That's always awesome to hear, especially for, a studio like Resolution Games. That's not, a 2-person endeavor. That's a pretty big team.
They call it a corporation at this point.
Right? So huge props to them, winning.
We'll have to see their offices.
Yeah. I think they have Sweden and Austin as well. So, they won Best Updated Game of the Year with Demio. They won Game Studio of the Year. So huge props to Resolution Games. I'm so excited to see what 2023 brings for them.
It sounds like they've already got their plate full, and those ideas are, I'm sure, just like the creation of the game. It's like, how many years are they ahead of?
Oh, that's another one. I'm sure the whiteboards.
Yeah,
I'm sure the whiteboards.
Ridiculous.
So this is all the marbles, baby.
This is it. It all comes down to this, folks. We have the Ruff Talk VR 2022 Game of the Year.
Ooh, Game of the Year, baby. This is it.
This is the cutthroat.
This is the final one. This is for all the marbles.
For Game of the Year, the nominees are Red Matter 2, Green Hell VR, The Last Clockwinder, Iron Man VR, Into the Radius, and Bone Lab. And the winner, for all the marbles, Red Matter 2.
Ooh, so well deserved. So well deserved.
And as stated in the last category that Vertical Robot won.
Yeah, privacy.
They are very, very private individuals, and we respect that think you only hounded him a little bit.
Yeah, I'll still hound him.
But definitely no speech. If something changes or we hear anything, I'll be amazed, to be honest with you.
No,
Only
totally
because of
understandable.
their, that's to me part of their like a
mystique.
masked wrestler.
Yeah,
You're
you
not
don't
supposed to know who the face is behind it. I respect that, but the reality is in our opinions, they did deliver what would be the game of the year for 2022. It's such a tough category because it's like I feel something personal for every one of the categories. Green Hell, VR. I mean, Jesus, they just keep making better and better changes to it too, so everyone's experience is good. But it's such a great experience.
If they bring multiplayer in this year in 2023, they could be on best updated game of the year because multiplayer would change Green Hell.
No, big time, and that's the biggest calling I think people have for it is the ability to play it in multiplayer. I know we were whining from day one. The Last Clockwinder, I'll get into more of my personal feelings on that when we review it.
Just makes you smile even talking about it, though.
But conceptually, a freaking great game, good storyline. Iron Man VR.
We loved.
No secret at all that I really like the story. Into the Radius.
One of the most replayable games on the store. People love Into the Radius.
One could argue on this list, probably the most replayable. And then, the hyped up to the gills Bone Lab.
Yep. Some of the I think the most reviews in the first couple hours I've ever seen.
Yeah. No,
it was insane.
Again, the hype train for Bone Lab might have been a little.
Pretty great soundtrack, too. If we had a soundtrack of the year, they'd be up there, too. Good soundtrack. But so would Red Matter, too. And, they won Storyline of the Year. But for Game of the Year, you look at all the aspects. Storyline, soundtrack,
Yeah, we'll definitely
gameplay.
have to have sound score of the
year for next year.
Yeah. Or best sound score for a game. Because it's a category where, these are real live musicians. They work hard for this. And very rarely, I feel, are the sound score folks given credit for.
I mean, we
just like the
said
dudes who make all the whole teams that make all the background sounds for movies, like every footstep, every lighter, every whisk of air. But can you name any in your lifetime? Like Tom,
No, and they should
I don't
get
know,
more
maybe
credit.
there is a Tom, but I can't physically name one single person. It's not even called like sound made person. It's got some funny ass name.
I think it's like music composer.
No, the people who make the background sounds. No.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's got a funny sounding name that I don't hear and think that's what they do for a living, but that's an area of entertainment that, like, I don't know. I'm in my low 50s. I was going to say young 50s. I was in my young 50s, but I can't tell you one single name of anybody in the industry. And that's like one of the most important parts of a movie.
We said it before for the storyline. You kind of went into it a bit. It enhances the story so much.
Yeah.
It's like so much.
Makes you
it's
feel
so big part of
tense. It
it
makes you feel relaxed. That's why
Immersed.
jump scares work so well.
Something's about to go down. You're like, I don't like it just based off the music.
When the music plays something that you feel in your heart of hearts, something's going to go down and your body's getting tense, but then it doesn't. And now you don't even have a trust of your own senses of. So yeah, we'll definitely have a best sound score category. But Red Matter 2 game of the year, I can't argue that one single bit. That was a phenomenal game.
Some of the best graphics I've seen on the Quest 2. I don't know how they pulled that off. Huge props to their graphic designers or their visual artists, whatever the name of that would be. They did phenomenal work.
Magicians.
Yeah. And again, we keep saying it. The music in that game was great. The storyline was great.
They're very
great
focused,
gameplay.
Very focused dev team.
I don't think I needed the combat in the game. I think that was the only aspect of the only new addition that didn't kill me. But I get why they tried to add it too.
Not upset about it.
No,
I
wasn't.
enjoyed
It wasn't break it either. It's not like it ruined the experience at all either.
Got a very good score for me.
They unanimously won Game of the Year from us. That one didn't
Correct.
have huge amount of debate.
No.
We were both like, yeah, Game
Seemed
of
to
the
all
Year.
fall into
Yeah.
play like it should. But no, this was fun. I like doing the award shows, and I think we'll just have to grow on it.
And it makes me want to play so many of these games again. It's funny how that goes. So, no, great stuff. I had a lot of fun with the 2022 Game Award Show. Already there's great games being prepared for 2023. Besides games that we've talked about.
Yeah, Ghostbusters coming out.
Yep.
If that lives up to all the hype, I mean, I don't know. Well, I'll have to play it and see if it could be game of the year.
Go listen to our Monday morning news, right after that Upload VR Game Award show where we talk about every single one of those games I think for coming in 2023.
Those are just the ones that aren't going to sneak attack us.
Well, like, just got announced this Grid Legends game, which
30 gigs.
31 gigabytes.
Yep.
Rest in peace, 64 gigabyte
EA
users.
games.
Knew right away to get that 256. But yeah, it's made by EA Sports, dude. Not EA Sports. Yeah, EA Electronic Arts. Dude, that's huge. And this is a flat screen game as well. That's coming to VR.
Yeah, multiplayer.
Out of nowhere. Guess when this is coming out? What is it, the 15th or something like that? Out of nowhere?
Coming out in days.
Dude.
Literal days.
And it's stealth drop. Now, here's the real question. Because we got to give credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
We love our Meta Quest. I don't have a PlayStation 5, so realistically, I'm not going to get a PlayStation VR 2. But to give credit where credit's due, Sony announcing that Gran Turismo 7, anybody who owns Gran Turismo 7, once PlayStation VR comes out, PlayStation VR 2, it's going to get a free update to be compatible with VR. That's pretty freaking sweet. So I'm like, dude, is this Meta being like, all right, they're releasing Gran Turismo? We got to release this game right now.
No, because this game would have already had to have been in the works
Well,
over
maybe
a year
it was
ago.
maybe it was planned to come out in a couple months.
But how sneaky is
and
that?
they're like, fucking just drop it now. Drop it now. They announced Gran Turismo. Kill that hype.
No, well, I don't know. I think it's or it's the other way around. Someone at Sony knew that they were going to be dropping
so
this
they're-
and was
so,
like,
tell them that Gran Turismo's coming.
tell them Gran Turismo's
Yeah.
coming. Look, we don't have to deliver anything. I'm just saying, just tell them. Tell those people that Gran Turismo's coming.
Gran Turismo devs are like, we're doing what?
They're like, we can't do that. No. We'll just put them into like a big flat screen TV screen and they'll be in VR playing it on flat screen. Everybody wins.
I just thought it was coincidental timing.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the
Well,
same
always,
week.
there is no coincidence. in
Yeah,
that,
it was-
especially with the big dogs.
Yeah, it was a little interesting, but I'm so excited to see this. EA's done a couple VR things. They were the publisher in Medal of Honor. But Grid Legends, I also believe, got a PC VR, like adaptable or playable version in an update on Steam last year too. And then one of the best one of the best PC VR games, Star Wars Squadrons. You fly a freaking, come on, flying in Star Wars, that's a dream come true.
I have it for the Xbox.
Now imagine that in VR. If you have PC VR, that's a great experience.
Oh yeah, keyword being PC. 'Cause
Yeah,
that is
but
some serious shit.
EA was attached to that. They're the publisher. At least they have their vision or their eyes on VR. It's
Dude,
not something
EA
in
has
the
been around forever.
yeah. And
They have weathered the test of time from back when. Shit, I think EA was even around with the floppy disks, and they haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
They just keep moving and moving and moving. And they make mistakes?
yeah.
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 Look at what they dropped for VR last year. It was terrible.
With Medal of Honor.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
not. I won't say terrible.
But they were
I
the
don't mean
publisher in
but
that.
they
How
weren't-
much of that was Respawn?
That was not something that lived up to the hype train at all.
Mm-hmm.
I had some grave issues with some of the. Graphically, it was good, but other than
Storyline
that-
was good.
So I've got some skepticism, but we'll see what they do
Yeah.
in about a week.
I say it all the time though. This is how Meta loves to do their freaking releases for hardware and software. It's like
So I'm more excited for stealth drops than I am for the ones I know about because
Yeah.
I've never heard of a bad stealth drop that didn't get you excited.
yeah, all of a sudden this just appeared on the store. It's everywhere. It's like, oh my
Coming
goodness.
soon.
Yeah, so Grid Legends, I'm so excited for it. It's pretty
You can
expensive.
pre-order it now before it drops for a discount too.
Yep. So it's got a decent price tag. Heads up though, like you said, 31 gigabytes.
Get ready to delete some stuff.
Yep. I did a factory reset not too long ago, so I'm golden. I didn't reinstall a whole bunch. So
After my last deletion, I got 12 gigs free, so I got a ways to go.
you
So
might
somebody's getting the sacrifice.
I was in my stuff's functioned a lot better. I've had a lot less boot up issues. I was getting to the point where booting up was like a 50-50 thing. It was real 50-50.
Well, if it's like any other computer and has a cache of any sorts and all this, it's like, of course, it's gonna even cell phones.
Yeah.
You got to clear that shit out.
Yeah, well good. My factory
Do a
reset
yearly purge.
it fixed my updating issue I had, and now my stuff seems to be running smooth. And I also got a bunch of space for Grid Legends when it comes out.
I am beyond happy to
So
jump on this one.
2023, I don't think is going to be
No, it's already starting week 1, and we're already getting pretty
the
good
Quest
shit.
3 this year, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited for the Quest 3 because time goes so fast. Ooh, I'm excited for that.
And that could come out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm probably imagining like an April announcement.
Yeah, I was thinking March.
But let's see. They could also announce in
March-ish.
October. Sometimes it seems like they like to release stuff in October. Seems to be.
I think
thing
they're
too.
definitely going to go through another showcase, and then it'll come out right after the showcase.
Yeah, probably 2 weeks after the showcase will be
And we'll have
available
the-
for pre-order
then we'll
that
have
day.
The Pico 5 that we can't get our hands on in America.
Yeah, so 2023 is going to be a lit year for
Yeah.
sure.
I am beyond excited. So let's bring it on.
Yeah, we got our hands full.
Won't
I
be a
imagine
fun award show if there's not good content out there. So
I think this year was better than last year. I think next year is probably going to be better
1,000,000%.
than this year.
I would
That's
hope
the
so.
way the VR world's going
If
right
it's
now.
if it's never not, then we have an issue.
We'll let you know when it is. Right now, I'm sometimes people say there's like lulls in VR and stuff like that. I have so much of games that I want to play and stuff. If things go slow for 2 weeks, I'm not mad. But then look, things go slow, and then Grid Legends is coming out of nowhere. It's like, what the hell? I was just getting
I
caught
haven't
up.
seen a lull yet.
No.
I've seen, if I stay focused on the store and never saw App Lab, I might argue, for a week it was kind of.
Well, and if you focus just on big games as well,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you look at all the indie games, oh my goodness, what's that? Remember that one I posted in our Discord the other day, the silly looking tower defense game? That looked ridiculous. I gotta check that out.
Oh, with the animals.
Yeah, that looked absolutely ridiculous. But nonetheless, wicked fun award show this year. 2023 is looking to be a great year for the world of VR between new games already announced, stealth drops, new hardware, including the Quest 3. So, thank you to all of our listeners that tune in, as much as you do. All of our Discord members that help make our online community such a great place. Just thank you to our sponsors that help keep the lights on. We couldn't do it without all of these elements. So,
No.
especially the listener, the people who tune in to,
Thank you to
maybe not
every
even every
single-
episode, but, the episodes that they want consistently. That's huge to us. People don't understand how cool it is to see, you
Yeah.
put out content and there's results to it. It's really cool. So I very appreciative to everybody who tunes in, and it helps.
I will give a huge thank you to every developer and publisher that's putting out games for us to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Besides the listener, without the games, I got nothing to talk about. And if I do talk, you probably don't want to hear it. So, again, kudos to every single person involved.
Yeah. No, it was
2023 is already off to a rocking start.
Yep. So if you've been enjoying this episode, like I said at the ad break, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, go join our Discord, and stay tuned for Wednesday's episode where we record or review Arcade Legend. That was kind of a little bit of a stealth drop to me too. I didn't really see that game coming. Then all of a sudden, boom, it was just on the new section of the store.
Yeah, quick.
I was like, I gotta check this out. So stay tuned for our thoughts there and check you out.
Take care.